Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is a recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 11, Episode 13, House of Horrors. Okay, this is also the season finale episode. I had no idea this was going to be the finale. It really kind of snuck up on me. But here we are. And last week was a to be continued. If you guys remember, we are picking up with the cliffhanger we were left with last week. Louis is at the front doors of Teresa's home, and Louis finds himself, quite frankly, at a crossroads. I mean, he's there to pick up Teresa and go on a date, but now he's just a guy standing before two evil doors, asking them to love him. Well, just before Louis has time to get to second base, reaching for the knockers, Teresa pulls open the doors from inside. Hi! Crisis averted. He chooses Teresa. Teresa tells us in her confessional that I'm taking things really slow with Louis. And on our third date, he kissed me goodnight. And I was like, that was nice. So he takes her to the town for dinner. And guys, I could not help noticing that the camera seemed to be lingering on these giant red doors. Could it be a friend of the evil doors? I don't know. I don't know if Bravo is really trying to segue into this whole season of doors next year. Who knows? I'm just trying to be observant. Anyway, they sit down and he asks her if he could take his jacket off, which I don't know what that was. And she goes, oh, yeah. I like your shirt. Okay, for those of you who haven't seen the episode, it's just a plain white shirt. I'm assuming that what's being said without being said is that she likes what's under the white shirt. Again, in Teresa's confessional, she tells us that even though it's only been a few months with Louis, he and I are just easy with each other. Like with Joe, he just didn't know how to act. Bravo, never missing an opportunity to replay the vineyard scene. Here she comes, my bitch wife. Hey, side note, I never really noticed this before, but when they show that scene as a flashback and it's like in black and white, doesn't it look like an old movie set? Like, I don't know, Grapes of Wrath or something? That whole vineyard looks like a fake backdrop. I'm just thinking. Grapes of Wrath as done by the cast of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Anyway, this is all followed up by Bravo's second favorite scene. In their kitchen, Joe just casually, low-key threatening violence. Gonna bust your head up against the wall, so shut up. Yeah, I guess Joe really did kind of struggle with making conversation. She continues to say in her confessional, with Louis, I just smile every day. He makes me laugh. Cut to their dinner and Louis going, your eyelashes are going like this. Yeah, you got yourself a real Jerry Seinfeld there, Teresa, with that observational humor. Back to her confessional. I love how smart he is. He's really successful and he's an entrepreneur. I'm afraid to ask what he invented, but she says what she loves most about him is that he's a great dad to his two sons. Cut back to the dinner and Louis is ordering a steak with French fries and Teresa talks about how he doesn't like vegetables and he mentions that he's younger than her. He's 46, so the same age as her brother. I mean, that tracks. Teresa said, Margaret said I liked younger men. Then we cut to Teresa likes them 21 years old. Talking about scotch, but a jab at Teresa. So she says to him, I know you haven't met my friends yet, but I'm so guarded. I just want to get to know you first for me. I have 4 daughters. And he goes, yeah, of course. If one of your daughters said that guy's an asshole, then you got to send me packing. If my son said the same thing, there's no compromise with that. So they order and then they toast. And Louis says, cheers to dinner on Wednesday. Teresa, I like that. Okay, you really are in love. Louis goes, do you remember when we first met? Dude, it was only 3 months ago. Are you trying to figure out if Teresa has short-term memory loss? Because, I mean, that would actually be valid. Anyway, Teresa goes, yeah. And then we cut to her acting it all out for her friends on the yacht. Louis, I still think about that day. Teresa, me too. People, it was like 100 days ago. You're not reminiscing about decades ago. Louis says he didn't think he would meet her. He thought he'd be alone for the next 10 years. And Teresa said, yeah, me too. Just because, like I'm in the public eye and it's hard for me to trust people. Louis, oh, you and me both. Excuse me, sir. Were you in the public eye? Because I don't know who you are. Anyway, he tells her that she's amazing. She tells him that he is too. Then he says, no, really, you're a dream come true. Teresa? Is a dream come true? I'm sorry, did you hear about the rumor she spread earlier about Evan at Evan's own birthday party? Yeah, she's a real dream come true. Then he asks her if he can kiss her. And he gets up from the table and leans over her. And with his napkin still tucked between his knees, he starts kissing her for like way too long. And even though he's like kind of handsome, it's gross. Next, I will let you guys guess where we are. We just hear, Dolores, where are you? Every time. I'm picking out Halloween costumes with the dogs, Frank. Next thing you know, like one is dressed like a lion, one's dressed like a dragon. Those two are fighting. The Chihuahua is dressed like a taco, which I think is slightly offensive. At Jennifer's, she's talking to someone. I don't know who this is. Some kind of person that works for her, I guess. And she said that the first year that they moved in that house, I didn't think anybody would come here trick-or-treating because the driveway's so big and it's a long walk. But she learned that if you give out the king-size bars, the kids will make that trek. Over at Jackie's house, the kids are carving pumpkins. Side note, why do we never have a party at Jackie's house, like a pool party? Because look at this drone shot. I mean, that's a gorgeous pool, and she's got a huge house. I don't know, maybe it's because nobody's allowed over. Over at Margaret's, it's chaos because they are in the last stages of trying to get everything finished in the house, the kitchen, and get all the remodeling done because the big Halloween party, Joe's birthday party combo is happening within days, I guess. At Melissa's house, all the kids are on their phones, and Joe says to his daughter, why don't you learn how to cook? What's that phone going to do for you? Nothing. Yeah, his thinking isn't antiquated at all. Notice he didn't say that to his boys, just his daughter. It's the same story over here, guys. Joe just wants to be included in Melissa's life. He wants to be invited when she goes places. I guess she used to want him there when she had like red carpet events, but now she feels like she could do it on her own, and he's a little hurt by that. He says, I just want her to put as much effort into her relationship as she does with her business. Are you talking about envy? Because that shouldn't be hard to do. You want her to just check in with you once a week and tell you you're dressed like a hooker? Over at Jennifer's, the whole family, other than Gabby, because Gabby is at a friend's house, are having a very fancy anniversary dinner to celebrate Bill and Jennifer's 18th anniversary. And Olivia said, and this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for me. And Jennifer said, yep, Olivia was planning this. She wanted to have a romantic dinner. And Bill goes, thanks, sister. Oh, God, he tries to be normal. Jennifer in her confessional wonders that if, with all the stuff that's going on with her parents, that Olivia maybe didn't hear something, and she kind of needs reassurance that everything's okay with her parents. That makes me sad if that's really what's going on. But anyway, it's all decorated. It's very fancy. They have a chef. Side note, why is this table all set up like 3 feet from the front door? Do you see how this is in their like foyer? Why? This house is huge. Are you telling me they don't have like a formal dining room? So strange. Anyway, Bill decides to have a toast to 18 years when Jen said yes. Oh, wait, that's right. I never asked her. So Jen and Bill explain to the children, in my culture, the custom is that the elder in the family asks for permission to marry. I don't know if Bill is like working on a stand-up routine here or like in part of his lessons and assimilating to human behavior. He's been watching a lot of old stand-up, but he is in rare form tonight. He says to the crowd, and by crowd, I mean 4 of his children. He goes, so of course I show up with no ring. Jennifer, he didn't have a ring, so he gave me a cross, which I'm guessing was like burning into his palm before he handed it to her. Bill said, I was a broke medical student, man. You think I had the money to save up for a ring? Who is Bill talking to? Hey, man. Thanks, sister. These are his children. I loved it, though. You know I loved it. The chef brings out the first course, and Bill's like, oh, hello. So Bill tells Jennifer, we got you a little something, just a small gift. And she's like, okay. And then he gets down on one knee, and he goes, okay, let's do this. Give me your hand. Jennifer, wait, what are you doing? OMG. Bill, setting the stage for the audience. So the year is 2001. Our second date, Jennifer Aiden. Well, Jennifer Altonell at the time. From the first time I laid eyes on you. Jennifer's like, oh my God. I said, this is the one. Will you marry me? It was actually romantic and sweet. Then he opens the ring box. Jennifer, no f***ing way. Right in front of the kids. I think she started to believe it was just an audience. Anyway, it is a huge honkin' yellow diamond, which she does not have room for on her hand because she already has a huge honkin' diamond on her ring finger. But, I guess she's got 9 other fingers. One of the children asks, how many carats is it? Because, of course, Jennifer has them trained to believe that material things are what matter most in life. And Bill said, a half carat for every year. So it's 9 carats. Olivia yells, happy anniversary! And you can just hear Jennifer, oh my God, I just got a huge ring. Next, we are at Dolores' house, and she tells her chihuahua, it's gonna be crazy here today. You're gonna have a whole new house. You're gonna have your own room, a brand new kitchen, a pool, a fire pit, and a playground for dogs. The chihuahua is just staring at her, like, just toss me a treat. I don't know what all this other stuff is. So Frank is walking into the house with his crew, and he's like, let's get one thing straight right now. You listen to me, not Dolores. And they're like, okay. So now that they're in the house, Dolores is telling Dan, one of the renovation guys, I'm in charge of my own happiness, Dan. I'm a strong and independent woman. And Dan's like, why is this happening to me? I'm here to demolish this wall and take the floor out. So I'm not sure what all this I am woman, hear me roar stuff is. Seriously, she's like, I built the other house. I didn't move in. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm independent. I'm strong. I'm a fierce woman, Dan. So now Frank is barking orders at Dan. Dan! It's kind of like how he yells at Dolores. Dolores goes, how can you stand this, Dan? He was like this when we were married. That's why we're not married anymore. Frank is like, yeah, that's why we're not still married. Now she's trying to engage Frank in a conversation while he's working. I don't understand why the girls just couldn't accept that I was happy. I'm at my wit's end with these judgments, Frank. And he's like, Dolores, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got nothing to fix. Dolores, according to Joe Gorga, I'm broken. Frank, why take that from Joe Gorga? Joe Gorga was born broken. He never kept growing after 5'2". Over at Teresa's, she and Gia and Melania are making apple pies with the apples that she got from the orchard that they went to for Jackie's birthday. I don't know what kind they are, but I know they're not McToshins. Teresa goes, okay, first we need to peel the apples. And she hands Melania a knife. Melania goes, you want me to peel these with a knife and chop my fingers off? Teresa, oh, hi, Gia. Gia, hi. Then Teresa looks at her phone and she's like, oh, Daddy just texted me. How are you? I haven't talked to him because he pissed me off after he talked about his girlfriend on Wendy Williams. Nutmeg, cinnamon. And I was like, what? Oh, she's reading ingredients off for the apple pies. For a second there, I thought Joe's girlfriend was a stripper. Hi, Joey. I'm Nutmeg Cinnamon. Gia goes, I don't think he meant anything bad by that. He probably just thought it was okay because you're dating. Teresa, even if he did, I don't need people to know my business. Wait, did he also say that she was dating? Because she said she was mad that he said he had a girlfriend. I'm a little confused. Gia, are you going to go public with him eventually? Teresa, I gotta see how it goes first. I want to make sure you guys are good with it. Melania says if it was like 2 years ago, she'd be like, excuse me, but now I just want you to do what you want. Live life. Thank you, Melania. Thank you. And back to the pies. She's reading, pile the apples into a lined pan and dot them with butter. What does that mean? Dot with butter. Gia, do I look like Betty Crocker? Teresa, you know what we could do? We could rub the butter on the top. Oh, yeah, that'll work. I'm sorry, didn't this woman write a cookbook? She doesn't know that term? Whoa, okay, I'm not going to lie. This is a jarring transition, but we are now at Jackie's house. She and Evan are getting their costumes ready for the party, and Evan is in full-on Sonny Bono, hair and all. I can't imagine this look is going to fly with the boys in finance. You know what I mean? Finance is like, I give up. Jackie goes, you look handsome. And Evan goes, oh, well, then Sonny Bono must have been a very handsome guy. And she goes, well, Cher is gorgeous. So she puts on her Cher wig. And she goes, if you ever want to pretend I'm your girlfriend from the gym. And he goes, oh, yeah. She goes, hey, buddy, do you have to go home after lifting those weights? I mean, seriously, though, for as mad as she was that was a topic at the beginning of this season, Jackie's the only one who's keeping it alive. Truthfully, everybody else has way moved on from it. We check in at Jennifer's house, and she's got her J-Lo costume. It's that iconic dress. And she says, I'm ready to get turned up. And Bill goes, you can have 2 shots. And she's like, okay. At Teresa's house, she's going as cotton candy? ? Oh, my God. At Dolores's, Frank is going as Joe Exotic. Which is kind of perfect. At Melissa and Joe's, Joe said, what am I going to be? Melissa said, you know how we always go as like cute little couple costumes? And then we see a few looks from their past. And she said, well, so I'm going to be a mermaid and you're going to be a merman. Joe, merman? I never heard of a merman. I can't imagine he's going to be like wearing a tail and everything. He should have been a fisherman, like that would be something she could get him to wear. And like he could have had a net, like been a fisherman catching the mermaid. I don't know. We'll see. Over at Margaret's house, poor Lexi has definitely been demoted to assistant. She is no longer friend of. Remember at the beginning of the series, she got to go on the trips and everything. She was at Lake George. Not anymore. Now she's working her ass off to get this party in tip-top shape. And Margaret and Joe Benigno are going as Morticia and Gomez Adams. And their costumes are cute. Actually, Margaret looks amazing in the Morticia dress. So all the work in the house has been finished, and she tells Joe that she's excited about the party. But she is a little bit worried about Joe Gorga because, he's unpredictable. And she's like, he called Dolores broken. Everybody's still upset with him, Joe. Cut to Melissa and Joe's, and Melissa's like, I want to have a good time tonight. So I don't want you to get into anything. And he goes, I don't want to fight. I'm not the one that starts things. Okay, it's just about time for all the guests to arrive. Everything at Margaret's house looks amazing. And of course, she used Larry Scott, party decorator to Housewives Everywhere. Yeah, he might be slimy as hell, but he will get the job done. Guests are arriving. Marge Sr. is dressed as Marilyn Monroe. Lexi gets to attend the party, and she is Ziggy Stardust. And of course, get a load of this guy. You had to figure somebody would bring COVID to this party. Oh my God, these ladies are frightening. They're twins from The Shining. I think the scariest part is that they're old. That adds a whole level of fear to me. Emily, the ghostwriter, is there. I think she missed a real opportunity to dress as Casper, but she's like a flapper or something. But I have to say, so far my best are Jennifer as J-Lo and Bill as Prince. Oh my God. It's so good. Bill says to Frank, what's Dolores? Mother Teresa? I can't tell. And he goes, no, she's an accident victim. Side note, she looks like a plastic surgery victim because the way the stitching is like around her boobs and I don't know, it looks like when a doctor like maps out where he's going to make all the cuts and stuff. I don't know, either that or a cadaver. She just looks like she's been cut into. And she's walking around carrying an IV bag. It's kind of funny. But anyway, when Frank says she's an accident victim, Bill goes, oh, because she's broken? Oh, she's broken. Yeah, we get it, Bill. I'm getting a little tired of stand-up Bill. Oh, also, I should say that Jennifer has ordered her first drink, and I'm pretty sure Tequila Jen is going to appear. Dolores and Margaret are talking, and Dolores said that she hasn't seen Melissa since Michelle's party. And she said, the thing about Joe Gorga is, I've known him a long time. I'm not offended. Margaret says, well, I was offended for you. I mean, we can't be giving him a pass just because he's adorable Joe Gorga. So now we see Joe and Melissa, and does a merman wear pants and a shirt? I mean, wouldn't this at least have been an opportunity for him to show off his muscles? This is stupid. On his own, nobody would know what the hell he was. And he's carrying a laundry bag. Why? What is happening? Does a merman also catch fish? I don't know. My idea was much better. I think he should have been a fisherman. He could have had like the hat with the lures hanging off of it. The net would have made sense. And people would have understood what he was on his own. As it is, I'm not sure they understand when he's standing next to Melissa, you know? That doesn't scream merman to me. Dolores tells Margaret that Joe's an equal opportunity offender because he talks like that to his wife. And Margaret said, well, I'm not going to let him speak that way to you or anybody. So everybody's having fun. Jennifer's about 2 sheets to the wind right now, I would say. She's not quite Tequila Jen yet, but she is working on it. And now Teresa arrives. And can I just say, this costume is not flattering at all. And something has been bothering me about it ever since the first time I saw the opening credits when she goes, I'm sweet. And she's wearing this thing. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I think I know now. It's that wig. It's very strange and flat. Like it's flat on top and like the bangs are flat across her forehead. Just like a weird swoop. It doesn't look like cotton candy if that's what it's supposed to be. It should be like round and fluffy, right? It's weird and it's unflattering because it's sort of like an old-fashioned, I don't know, what it's almost like a Betty Rubble hairstyle. I don't know. I guess I'm being too picky. But I've seen Teresa look much prettier than this. So now we see Jennifer and, well, okay, who am I kidding? It is full-on Tequila Jen at this point. She's talking to Frank and Dolores and Jackie and Evan. And Frank, of course, is going on and on again about kissing Joe Gorga's ass. He goes, I saw the hair between his ass cheeks. Ew. Dolores goes, oh, and like you shave your ass. Frank goes, abso-fucking-lutely. Tequila Jen goes, oh, hell yeah. I'm married to a plastic surgeon. I get that lasered. Then, for effect, she lifts her leg and yells, get in there, get in every nook and cranny. Welcome, Tequila Jen. In my culture, nobody likes a hairy ass. And Dolores' confessional, she's like, I'm sorry, is this a college party? You're at a friend's house. So then she tries to trick Jennifer into eating, and she goes, I get a little nauseous from drinking and not eating. Have you eaten anything? Tequila Jen, hell no. I didn't fucking eat. At least she's got food, finally. Salami and some fucking crudité. A crudité does not soak up alcohol, just saying. TJ is talking so loud, you guys. These shrimps are fucking jumbos. Margaret tells Joe to be nearby because she's going to make a speech soon. Jennifer's like eating this giant hot dog. She's like, this isn't bad. Drops her plate. Food goes everywhere. TJ, I dropped my pig in a blanket. Michelle's husband, John, is standing next to her. Why don't I like this guy? I don't know. And what is he tonight? Oh, Karl Lagerfeld, I think. Anyway, he's standing next to Jennifer, and he hands her like his pig in a blanket that he just took a bite out of. And it's like he's feeding it to her now. It's inappropriate and it's gross. Jackie's like, you're going to choke. Because she's like chewing it and it's coming out of her mouth. It is so disgusting. And she's still drinking, by the way. Honestly, how can she want to be this messed up? It would take me exactly one time of cleaning up my vomit from my foyer to keep me from drinking that much ever again. Like, it was not that long ago, Jennifer. She's like chewing on the sausage and spitting it out again. I just can't. And Michelle's husband's got his hand out like he wants her to spit it out into his hand like she's a 2-year-old. And what are you going to do with it? Michelle, why did you bring him? I think we're all wondering, why did you bring this idiot when you could have brought Kathy? I would love to have seen Kathy's costume. It would probably have been Where's Waldo? And then when she's in every single scene, you have to try and find her. Anyway, Margaret is kind of looking over and she's pissed at Jennifer for getting that drunk. And she's telling Joe, oh my God, do you see her? Jennifer's drunk and she's dropping food all over my new patio. Now TJ sits down next to Dolores. Hey, how you doing, girl? Dolores, are you drunk? TJ, yeah, I'm drunk. She loves herself this way. I mean, so do I, but it's just funny to me. Dolores goes, well, don't get sick, because that's not fun. And, I'm not judging you. And Jennifer goes, no, I know, you're looking out for me. Now Margaret makes a speech. It's very sweet and emotional about how Joe is her whole world. And then it starts to feel like the speech is maybe meant for somebody other than her husband. She goes on and on about how you allow me to be an independent woman. You support me with whatever I do, all my craziness. You put up with everything I've ever wanted for my business. And the camera pans to Joe Gorga. And I feel like she's really sticking it to him while she's praising Joe Benigno. So Joe Gorga is smiling, but he's getting pissed. And he says, if she thinks I'm holding Melissa back, she's crazy. She's got it all wrong. Now Teresa finds Jennifer and Dolores and she sits down with them. Jennifer, hi, fairy. Teresa, I'm cotton candy. Jennifer, I thought you were a fairy. TJ, still speaking at a level twice the volume of everybody else. Meanwhile, Joe Gorga goes to look for Margaret. They greet each other very nicely, and he tells her she gave an amazing speech. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then he said, but listen, let me ask you a question. Bottom line is, am I really a chauvinistic guy? And Margaret said, well, the way you spoke to Dolores is a chauvinistic thing. You called her broken. Joe Gorga says, I can have my opinion. Now Jennifer gets up and leaves to go find Bill. And Dolores asks Teresa, is everybody asking you where your boyfriend is? Because get used to it. That's what they do to me all the time. I mean, I get that Dolores is trying to act like it's the same thing, but it is not the same thing. Teresa's relationship is new, and she doesn't want to bring him around if he's not going to be her long-term boyfriend, which I understand and which seems very mature for Teresa. I'm sure once they are in a long-term relationship, he will eventually make an appearance at parties and events, unlike David. So it's not quite the same thing. Dolores says, don't let them get involved in your relationship. And Teresa goes, yeah, I know. Because, even my brother's talking too much. Cut back to Margaret and Joe Gorga. Margaret, Dolores says she's happy. Joe, people say they're happy. But are they really? I call people out. Listen, I've known Dolores since I'm 5 years old. I care about her. I know, Joe. I know you've known her a long time. I know you love her like a sister. Well, not that much. I just think that some men think our happiness comes from a relationship. It's just a very antiquated way to think. So now Margaret gets into real trouble by now saying it's like Melissa. You can't hold her back. Joe, I don't hold her back. Now we see Melissa walking up. What's everybody doing? Cut to Teresa and Dolores. Dolores says, Melissa and Joe have their issues right now. Teresa, yeah, you could say that they're kind of broken. Oh, all right. Cut back to Margaret and Joe. You have to evolve. I am evolved. I live in 2020. Margaret, you might live here, Joe, but your mind lives in 1985. Why 1985? Like 1955 maybe. And now Melissa approaches them. Like, hello, are you arguing? She tells Joe, you just don't talk anymore. And you need to apologize to Dolores. I'm going to go find Dolores. She sees her sitting there with Teresa, and she tells them Joe and Margaret are arguing because Margaret called him chauvinistic. Dolores. Melissa, he was. Anybody normal would feel that way. Anybody normal. Melissa goes, I'm not saying he's right, but did you guys just meet Joe yesterday? Again, just because they know what he's like doesn't mean it's okay. Margaret now goes and finds Jackie and Jennifer and Bill. Jackie goes, is everything okay? Margaret, Joe's upset because I called him a chauvinist. I don't know if the prince costume is giving Bill a certain kind of confidence or if it's just that he's still in that mood he's in, but he says to her, does he not have insight when he's insulting women? I will refer you to Melissa's question. Did you just meet him yesterday? Because of course not. Cut to Melissa. I'm not here to talk for Joe. Dolores goes, come on, Melissa. I was upset about the poll that was taken. Teresa, if somebody took a poll about me, I'd be pissed. Melissa's confessional, she's like, again, right under the bus. Thanks, Teresa. Melissa goes, I'm also guilty of thinking it was a bit of a crutch, meaning giving her a car to appease her because he's not giving her a ring. So Dolores said, well, that was a stupid thing to think. Melissa, it wasn't just me. It was Jennifer. There were about 7 of us. Okay. Talk about right under the bus. I guess Teresa's not the only one that does that, huh, Melissa? Cut back to Margaret. I just told Joe he's got to get out of the cave. Now they look over and they see Melissa talking to Teresa and Dolores. And Jennifer's like, are they fighting? What's going on over there? Melissa says to Dolores, you're just angry because Joe was very raw with you. Dolores said, Melissa, you and Joe are fighting. You want independence. He's not coming anywhere close to that. What if I took a poll? Will Melissa and Joe's marriage survive? I would never. Margaret walks up now and she's like, what's going on? And she sits down next to Dolores. Now, Melissa says, whatever battle I'm going through, I'm handling it. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 3. It's hard to just flip a switch and say, I'm a different person now. Cut to the husbands who are now all together. Joe Gorga, boy, what a crazy night. Bill, what the happened? Joe turns to Joe B and goes, Marge is making a big deal. Dolores is making a big deal. He looks at Frank. Joe B said, all the girls are busting his balls. Bill, they have a point. If they feel that we're being inconsiderate. Frank, so what should we do, Bill? Ask the vampire how to treat a lady. Bill, you've got to listen. How do you ignore that when the other person says to you, you're being insensitive to me? Joe Gorga, I don't want you. You're drunk. Just shut the fuck up. It's over. I'm going to the bar. Bill does look a little dejected. Back to the ladies. Dolores is still talking to Melissa. Don't take as long as I did to find your voice. Guys, I think what's happening here is that Dolores and probably Margaret didn't get the memo that this whole thing about Melissa and Joe's marriage is fake. Just a storyline, probably because they couldn't think of anything else. And what's happening is those two are pointing out genuine issues in their marriage. And I don't think Melissa likes that. It's easy to fake that things are going wrong with you and your husband, but when people are pointing out things that actually could be improved, that's not so fun. So anyway, Melissa's getting real hot. And she said, you all have known him for a long time. And I don't need anybody to call my husband a male chauvinist pig. That's first of all. He talks like that sometimes. Jackie and Jennifer, by the way, are watching from like a safe distance at this point. But I don't need to hear it from my friends. Cut me a little slack, because whatever it is that you think I'm dealing with, it's probably worse. Okay, I didn't see that coming. I'm not sure what she's talking about. Dolores says, I'm worried about the two of you if you don't fix this. The sad part is a man has to see what he'll lose before he's willing to change anything about it. Side note, I love that Bravo recognizes how delightful it is for us, the viewers, to witness these arguments while all parties are in a ridiculous costume. It's just my favorite part of this. Dolores is like has blood all over her face and stuff. So good. Okay, now Joe walks up. What's going on here? Joe's acting needs a little work because he's got like a little smirky smile on his face, which is inappropriate for the situation. It's like he knows his part's coming up and he's excited. So anyway, Melissa goes, first of all, you need to apologize to Dolores. Joe turns to Dolores. Do you think I mean anything by that? Dolores, no. No, Joe, no. I've known you how long? You're like a sister to me, Dolores said. But you think if I have independence, I'm not happy. Joe, that's not true. I love that a woman is independent. Dolores, I need my independence, Joe. And you get nervous when Melissa wants hers. Okay, you get insecure, she says. Joe turns to Melissa now and says, I don't want to get aggravated here. Dolores keeps pressing him. Are you okay with change, Joe? Joe to Melissa, I'll let you answer that. Am I okay with change? So he's putting Melissa on the spot so that if Melissa doesn't say yes, he's okay with change, he can go off on her, what, at home, in the car on the way home? I mean, that move was very telling to me. He put his wife on the spot and made her either lie to her friends or tell the truth and pay the price. That was not cool. The question was for you, Joe. So anyway, Melissa, probably because they've been married for a while, she has learned how to answer. It's just like, we're not going to have a discussion about our marriage in front of the girls. So she deflected, and that was probably the only thing she could do. And then she got mad at the girls. She said, I have never pried into your relationship. Then to Teresa, she goes, you've asked me 10 times not to talk about Joe Giudice and all the shit at the shore. So like, do us a favor and don't talk about our marriage either, okay? And then this was a little slip because a little bit of truth almost was told. She goes, because he's going to like, and she stops herself. And I'm going to have to deal with it. She doesn't say what he's going to do. She just jumps to the, I'm going to have to deal with it. Because I think everybody knows what was unspoken. They kind of storm off. And Dolores goes, that's true. She'll go home and deal with it. That'll happen. It's going to be a long car ride home. We cut to Melissa and Joe, who are like walking away. And Joe goes, finally. Melissa, keep your mouth shut. Dolores, she wanted out quick. Margaret goes, yes, she was like, I don't want him to burst a blood vessel and make a scene. Now Jennifer and Jackie walk up. What's happening? What'd we miss? Side note, are we just abandoning the Tequila Jen storyline? Did she leave with Karl Lagerfeld? Because this is Jennifer, apparently pretty sober. So Dolores fills them in. She said, I told Melissa I didn't like the poll. And I said, what if I took a poll? Will Melissa and Joe's marriage last? Jennifer, you said that? Jackie's like, yeah. Jackie knows a little something about hypotheticals. Jennifer's like, ouch. Side note, Teresa hasn't said a word in like how long now? She's been sitting there the whole time. She said nothing. I mean, Dolores is really the only one I think that can get away with saying pretty harsh things about her brother right in front of her. And she doesn't say a word. We check back in with Melissa and Joe. And she's like, listen, I don't want people talking about our marriage. I'll say what I want about you, but I don't want to hear everybody else saying it. Joe goes, well, I was waiting for you to say something. And Melissa goes, oh, I said plenty. And you need to realize that you are very lucky. Cut to the ladies. Jennifer goes, is this serious? Their marriage being in trouble? Dolores, it is serious. She wants her independence. He wants things to stay exactly as they are now. I know the end of this play, and it could turn out bad. Back with Melissa and Joe, Melissa said, people change. Teresa said she would never go back to this. And she's pointing to her and Joe. And Joe goes, back to what? Melissa's like, Joe. And she's kind of stumbling over her words. And she's like, we live very old school, which is code for you're a chauvinist. Joe goes, I don't think so. I think you're in La La Land. In her confessional, Melissa said, it's my own fault. I created this life where, keep your man happy was the most important thing because that's what I learned from my mother. Melissa says she's tired of talking about their relationship now. And then we get the final wrap-ups, and Melissa's is first. It says, Melissa continues to build her brand. She recently launched a new workout line, but her hardest job is still being the wife of Joe Gorga. They decide that they just want to go, so the two of them get in the car and leave. And then the others are wondering where they went and if they left. And Jackie's like, I feel bad. And Dolores says, you know what, guys? I'm done talking about this. Let's dance. So everybody's dancing now. Frank goes, where's Joe Gorga? Dolores, they left. They're adults. They'll figure it out. Joe Benigno and Margaret are dancing together, and Joe said, you know what? You're a beauty. And Margaret smiles and kisses him. And then we get Margaret's wrap up for the season. Margaret and Joe completed their house renovations. They're getting along better than ever. They're currently looking for a new project to fight about. Jackie and Evan are dancing, and then we get Jackie's. Jackie's family threw a double bar mitzvah for her two older boys. She made sure it was the perfect party. No rumors and not one analogy. Jennifer's is next. Jennifer is still not speaking to her mother. She is speaking with lots of housekeepers, but still can't find one who gets her tone. What was that about? I don't understand what they're referring to. I can't remember. Dolores is next. Dolores is enjoying her independence from David. She recently got a thigh lift, didn't even know that was a thing, and is considering what plastic surgery procedure to do next. She won't be taking a poll. I forget, these are worse than the taglines. Anyway, finally we have Teresa. Teresa has finally admitted she's madly in love. She and her boyfriend recently bought an investment property together. That scares me. She's so vulnerable. I think it's so easy to kind of talk her into spending her money places that might not be best for her. I hope this is a good guy. I think there are rumors out there that he's not, which really makes me sad, because I think Teresa would be an entirely different person if she ever got to experience what it would be like to be with somebody who treats her well. So I hope that's not true. I hope he is a good guy. But why make such a big investment already? They bought a house together. I don't know if they live in it or not, but I don't know, too fast, you know? Anyway, hers ends with, and they have a pantry filled with pineapple juice. So the show ends with Louis calling Teresa while she's in the middle of filming a confessional. And so the producer asks him, what are your intentions with Teresa? They laugh, and he said, I'm in it for the long haul, till her boobs sag to the floor. Ew. Anyway, that is it. That is a wrap on the season. We do still have, of course, the reunions. I don't know if it's going to be 2 parts or 3 parts, but, I'll be here to cover those as well. You know what I missed, guys? And maybe you can help me if you know when it aired, leave it in the comments. I kept waiting for the scene that was teased at the very beginning when they do that trailer for what's to come for the season. There was a scene where Melissa, I think it was outside, she was standing at a railing or something, and she said something like, it's all well and good until it isn't. And I kept wondering what she was talking about and who she was saying that to. But I don't remember ever seeing it. So if I missed it, could you guys let me know in the comments? Because I'm curious what she was talking about. Also, did I miss Teresa saying, I'm sweet? Because that was part of her tagline, and I don't think she said it at the party, did she? Maybe it'll be a never before seen scenes. Who knows? All right, as always, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing that. And if you liked this particular recap, please give it a thumbs up. As always, leave comments. I love to hear from you guys. And before I forget, I am an Amazon affiliate. If you look in the description box below this video, you will see some of the items that I recommend. Also, I have added a couple more books to my book recommendations. These are not new books, but I just read them. The Last Mrs. Parrish and The Chain, psychological thrillers. It's super good, lots of twists and turns. If you like that kind of thing, they're really good. So if anybody clicks on any one of the links to Amazon, even if you don't buy the thing that I'm suggesting, while you are still in Amazon, if you go and shop for other things, I will still earn a small portion of the cost of that. So just a reminder, a little way to help me out if you want. But of course, if you're not into that, that's fine too. All right. Thank you guys. That's it for me. I will see you next week for the reunion. Bye-bye.